G'day folks, talk to Lawrie McKinna, the Mayor for the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Yarn up where it all started back in Scotland, his homeland, the Northern Hemisphere. The bloke played in the Scottish Premier League, cut his teeth there as a professional, ended up coming over to Oz, playing in various teams in New South Wales in the NSL, National Soccer League, jumped from player to coach, coaching within the NSL, hearing the murmurs of the A-League coming to town, boom, he ends up the foundation coach of the Central Coast Mariners. So really interesting hearing how that all started. There for a few years, running that pro squad in that pro league, wants to jump into local politics, ends up becoming the mayor for Gosford, jumps out of that, becomes the CEO for the Newcastle Jets back in the A-League, and full on too, like the dedication that he has for football, also known as soccer, where the ownership group was pulling out of the Jets, so he puts his own money on the line, sells his bloody house without telling anyone. Dedication. And then throws the mayor's chains back on after getting back into local politics as a councillor and then mayor for the Central Coast because Wong and Gosford amalgamated. And he's doing a solid job. It's all flush and moving ahead. He doesn't muck around, he's straight up. Love it. Solid yarn. And if you like the podcast, hit that subscribe or follow button. And we've also got a Patreon page. The link is within the description. So if you want to roll with the squad and become a patron, that'd be great. I want to thank our sponsors, Culture Connects, an NDIS registered service provider predominantly operating up and down the east coast of Australia with its main workforce of disability support workers, support coordination levels 1, 2 and 3, psychosocial recovery coaching, registered nursing, the bricks and mortar, disability accommodation with SDA, specialised disability accommodation, SIL, supported independent living, that's 24/7 care, ILO, individualised living options, which is a hybrid style of living, MTA, medium-term accommodation, STR, short-term respite, working with a diverse range of individuals that have got very high complex disabilities and not so complex. Spinal cord injuries, acquired brain injuries, cerebral palsy, autism levels 1, 2 and 3, muscular dystrophy, Friedreich's ataxia, Huntington's disease, MS, Parkinson's, intellectual, cognitive, psychosocial disabilities, working with individuals from the ages of 6 to 65, older, some younger, broad range. Making sure vulnerable individuals in the community are catered for. And also heard, because Culture Connects are advocates first and foremost, service providers second. And yes, I co-own and co-run Culture Connects, and very passionate about what we do here to serve all types of different individuals with disability. So if you need disability supports, whether that's through the NDIS or other state and territory-based schemes, reach out. I want to thank our sponsors, Permabil Australia, the greatest electrical chairs in the land. Won't be sitting in anything else but these 4 wheels right here, and they've got great assistive tech also. So righto, let's get into it. Lawrie McKinna, brother, Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming down here and having a yarn in the podcast studio, mate, and looking to explore all things that you've done in your past in and around football. I'll try not to say soccer.
No, we're happy with football.
Yeah, football, righto, we'll leave it there. But yeah, welcome.
No, thank you, and thanks for the invite to come along.
Yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, let's just start back with, or reel it right back when we're looking at Scotland, when you're looking at in the Northern Hemisphere. So just tell us a bit about where you're from and what life was like, back when you were growing up as a youngster in Scotland, and what part of Scotland, north, south, where?
So I'm from a wee village called Galston, which is 5 miles outside Kilmarnock, which is the biggest town in the area, which is Ayrshire, which is about 20 miles south of Glasgow on the west coast. And when I was, a lot of people don't know, but when I was 2, my mum and dad came to Australia in the £10 passage. So we jumped on a boat. So that was probably, I was born in 61, so probably 63, 64. We jumped on a boat, came to Sydney. We lived in the hostel down at East Hills, in the tin sheds, and my dad got a job, and then we moved into Heathcote, and we never really settled down, and we left and went to New Zealand for 6 months, went to Auckland and never settled there. Then we went back to Scotland. So I went back to Scotland when I was 5, so like 1966, just in time to start school. So I had this broad Aussie accent because I was basically, most of my life at the time had been in Australia. So I got speech elocution lessons for 2 years at school, so it taught me to speak properly. And now I've been here 40 years and I can't shake off the Scottish accent. But so my sister was born in Australia, and as I said, we stayed here about 2 years. It was quite tough, and we just never settled. Then we went back to Scotland, and that's, as I said, when I was 5. Lived in Galston, and went to Galston Primary School. Then a big new school got built, so there were 4 villages in our valley, which was Hurlford, Galston, New Mills, and Darville. So it was like 8 miles between them, so it was like 2 miles each village. And then Kilmarnock was at the end, the biggest town, had population about 60,000. My village got about 3,500, still got 3,500. Went to Loudon Academy, which was the big brand new secondary school outside of my village, just up next to Loudon Castle, which was haunted and with ghosts and all that kind of stuff for the old days. And went to Loudon Academy. I played football with the boys' brigade team, the Life Boys, and I still see some of those boys yet when I go back home because they're still living in the village.
Nice.
And then I never made the school team the first year at high school, and then played the second year and the third year. Then that's when I left. I left to go to work. I was like just about 16, and I left. And my first job was in a lace mill because round about our villages was the lace industry.
Yeah. And just before you got into your first job, though, like going through school, like, do they teach you, like, when it's got to do with language, like if it's got to do with like Celtic languages or anything like that?
So on the West Coast, we never got Gaelic. So Gaelic's the Celtic language. We never got it. We never heard it. We didn't even know what it was because we were living on the West Coast. We got French at high school. And you had to get French. You got that first year, second year, third year, but no Gaelic. I'd never heard it spoken. I don't think I've actually heard somebody actually speak it unless it was on TV. So the high school, we had a great going through school. Like, I wasn't a bad boy, but maybe a cheeky boy, you know. So I'd gone well with teachers. But later on in the story, but our one of the head gym teachers, a guy called Jim McFadden, bit of a big guy, you know, ex-football player, played with Ayr United, which was like the local derby between Kilmarnock and Ayr. So near Troon, where the Open is.
I've heard Troon,
So Troon's like 10 miles for Kilmarnock, and then Ayr's another 5 or 6 miles, so it's really close. And Jim McFadden was my school teacher, so he was my PE teacher. And then later on in life, our paths crossed, but we'll touch that later. But I started working the lace mill as a shuttler. There were, I think, 13 factories within the 3 villages, Darville, New Mills and Galston. So there were no work at the time. And I went in there and became a lace weaver. And I did that till I was about 18. I think I stayed there just over 2 years.
So lace weaver, explain that. So what's going on there?
Big, huge machines that you used to have to just put this granite stuff to make the machines, the shuttles, it went back and forward, and lace table covers for this beautiful table you've got. You go to the shops, you buy lace table covers. Well, we used to make it in Nottingham was the main area in the UK for lace textiles, and our valley, it was called the Irvine Valley, and so we used to make all that stuff. And then
that's interesting.
I met my wife at school, so we met at 15, me and Christine. I went to the school disco on the Friday night and asked her for the last dance, a slow dance, and I walked her home, and I missed the last bus home. Snowing, full moon, and I had to walk 5 miles home after my first kiss, which was 50 years ago on the 27th of March last week was our first kiss.
Congratulations,
so I'm a
bro.
romantic. I've been married 45 years, but that's 50 years we've been together since we're 15. And we got engaged, I think, when we were 18, 17, 18. Nothing else to do in Scotland. You went and met your girlfriend at school, you got engaged, and then you get them pregnant. And she became pregnant. Doing my ball control, being a football player, my ball control was shocking.
I'm mainly laughing because, like, on the other side of this room, my wife's out there because same thing. We met at high school. She was 15, I was 16. Same thing. The high school formal, asked her out there. The rest is history. So we've got something in common there.
Yeah, no. So, so she fell pregnant. We got married in the church and in Scotland, and it was probably here as well. When you're, if you're pregnant, our mum said you're not wearing white. You're not allowed to wear the white dress. So when you get married in the church and you walk out, and I'm in all the suit and the bow tie and that, but the wedding dress is like off-white, like a kind of cream colour, champagne colour.
Yeah, right.
Because you're not allowed to wear the white. And you're basically saying, stick a poster in your head and say, I am pregnant, because everybody knows, because you're not wearing white. So we got married.
So what's the go with that? Is that a cultural thing over there?
Traditional kind of thing. It's in Australia as well. A lot of people coming from Europe know about it.
Yeah, okay.
It's a kind of, it is a cultural thing.
That's interesting.
Because you're not a virgin, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're 5 months pregnant. So we moved into Darville. We got our first house, a wee 2-bedroom flat, and we had our first boy, Scott. And I was still playing football in my amateur team. I'd been out in trial. I'd signed with Darville Juniors, which is the village where Christine's from, like 5 miles away.
Right.
And that's a level below professional. It's like semi-professional. And I'd had half a season when I was 16.
Like below the Scottish Premier League?
Yeah. So below the 3 divisions, it was you had the Premier League, First Division, Second Division. Now it's the Championship. So Darville, so I played with them for about 6 months. I was on the bench a lot. I went back to play with my village team, Gosford United, and out the blue, I was 19. And a Sunday, we used to go to Christine's house, mum and dad's nice big bungalow. They had acreage. And we used to go there for breakfast. And then the car pulled in, and like 4 people jumped out. And it's like, oh shit, what's going on here? But it was the committee men from Darville Juniors, because I had signed with them again. They came and got me again when I was 19. And
what was your position?
I was a striker.
Yep.
So I'd heard a few weeks before that a scout had been there and liked to look at me, but that was all. But then these guys come in and said, Dundee United want you to come out and trial.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
They were big. They were one of the biggest teams in Scotland. Jim McLean was the manager. Walter Smith, who went on to become a Rangers legend, he was reserve team coach. So on the Monday, my dad, who'd never watched me play, my dad never watched me play. That was normal in Scotland at that time. He, taking a day off work, he drove me to Dundee.
Makes you more resilient though, just forging your own path and going about your business.
Yeah, you just go about my business.
Yeah.
Bobby Nisbet, who was the guy when I started working in the factory, he was this retired guy who worked part-time, who was a football guy, who kept me in line. You know, he was a bit of a mentor. He used to look after the church. Just a lovely, lovely guy. And he came with us. So we drove to Dundee.
And could see the potential and try and keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. Just behave yourself, son. You know, give me a slap now and again.
Pull your head in, mate.
So we went to Dundee, and then the game was in Brechin, which is like 40 minutes outside of Dundee. So we drove up, followed the team bus. It was a reserve game. And we won the game, and I scored an absolute screamer. I'm left-footed, but I scored a bomb with my right foot in the top corner, and I'm feeling brilliant. I'm like, how good's this? I'm just turned 19. I'm playing with Dundee United. I've scored the only goal of the game. I'm bound to get signed, because I knew I played well.
Yep.
And then Jim McLean, who's a legendary manager in Scotland,
And just for everybody else out there, so your manager is your coach, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he came in the dressing room, and him and Walter, because Walter Smith actually played with the reserves that night, he's the assistant coach. He said, "You're good enough for professional football, but you're too old for us." Because all the reserve team players were like 16, 17. I just turned 19, I've got a baby. I've got a wife and I've got a baby.
Did you feel that pressure?
I didn't feel the pressure, but I was gutted. When you've done well, you've done well. I knew I'd done well. And but then they said to me, "Have you not played, are you not been in contact with Kilmarnock?" I said, "Well, nah, nobody's been in contact," because I'd only started playing at junior level again in the last few months. They said, "Look," because Jim McLean used to play with them. So he called them, and like, if you're a lower league club and Jim McLean calls you up, you go, "Wow." He said, "Have a look at this boy." So the next week I went out with Kilmarnock, and we got beat 4-2 for St Mirren, which was, they were a Premier League team. I scored 2 goals.
That's decent, though, against a Premier League team.
Decent.
And is it safe to say...
This is reserve
Oh,
team.
sorry.
This is a reserve team.
Hold on, though. Reserve playing a first grade team in...
No. We were reserves against reserves.
Yep.
So I scored 2, and then Kilmarnock asked me to, that was on the Saturday. The first team played at St Mirren that day, so the manager never saw me. It was the reserve team coach who watched me, and they said, "Can you play on Tuesday night against Motherwell?" Of course.
Big team.
Big team. So then the assistant coach for Motherwell, the coach was David Hay, who was an ex-Celtic legend. Jim McFadden, my old school teacher, was assistant coach for Motherwell. So Motherwell contacted me on the Monday and said, "Can you play against Kilmarnock tomorrow night?" I went, "No, I'm already playing with Kilmarnock against you." Got to the game, saw Jim McFadden before the game, said hello. We won 6-0 and I scored 4. And I walked off the park, and the assistant coach, David Wilson, who's still alive, ex-Glasgow Rangers legend, Scottish international, he said, I can't swear, but he said, "Hey, you big effer, you're coming with us." Because Jim McFadden was waiting in the tunnel. Motherwell were trying to get me coming off the park, and he's dragged me into the dressing room, into the coach's room, said, "Right, you're coming upstairs." So I walked up the stairs, and they offered me £1,000 signing on fee, £50 a week.
On the spot?
£10 a week in the off season. And I'm like, I was earning, working all my overtime and everything in the factory, and then I became a van. I was a van driver at that time. I just started a job as a van driver. I was probably earning 80, 90 quid a week. So I was getting 50 quid basic, £20 a point, blah, blah, blah. So it was like another wage.
And you'd have point incentives.
Yeah. So
and how do you feel out on the pitch? You're a young fella, about to be a father. You're still working hard, but like in the moment.
I was a dad then. I was a dad then.
Yeah, right.
I was a dad then. I'd had my son. My son was like,
what, 1 or something? Or
1, yeah, not even 1 year old.
What's your confidence, your level when you're on the pitch? You hadn't been signed yet. What are you feeling? Do you remember? Those moments?
I just worked my arse off. When I played, I was big, strong. I always say I overachieved with the ability I had, but I'm quite honest about what kind of player I was. I was big and honest, and I was strong, and I was brave. Sometimes you'll call it stupid when we go on a wee bit.
Calculated risks, so good.
Stupid. But so I signed on the spot. My wife didn't even know. Like, she didn't know, because I'm just like, give me the contract. Like, to sign professional football. Kilmarnock were in Division 1 then, so the Premier League, it was Division 1, Division 2. Kilmarnock won promotion that weekend back to the Premier League. So when I signed in the May, it was the last game of the season. I'm a Rangers supporter, die-hard Rangers fan. The last game of the season, that was the Tuesday, the last game of the season was that weekend. Kilmarnock reserves played Rangers reserves at Ibrox. And I went and played, and I'm in this stadium. Look, there'd be a couple of thousand people there. Stadium held 50, 60,000, and I'm just in awe, going, wow. I never touched the ball, get beat 6-0. I never gave a shit. I was just, I've made it. I'm playing at Ibrox, blah, blah, blah.
Premier League, thanks for coming.
So I went for amateur football in the March, April, played back with my junior club, signed professional. I did the pre-season. And did okay, worked hard as I did. The first game of the season.
And is it hard to get a spot on the team? Like, it's pretty competitive?
Very competitive.
Because I'm thinking of all these layers before you get up to
a lot of layers,
Premiership.
But what happened in that first game, it was against Hibs at Rugby Park. I never knew this. I've turned up at the game just to watch the game, turned up in the suit, actually got the bus there and never had a car.
Is Kilmarnock, that's your home ground, Rugby Park?
Yeah, Rugby Park. So I got the bus. I got the service bus to the game, walking down the street with all the fans, going to the game. And I walked in, and in those days you put the team sheet up. And I'm just looking down the team sheet, and you were allowed 2 subs in those days. Lawrie McKinna. I'm going, what?
He's on.
I'm on the bench. I had no indication, nothing, I was on the bench. Because what happened? 5 first-team players went on strike over the bonus money. Because they cut the bonus by half. It used to be £40 a point. Now it was cut to £20 a point. So if I won, you get 90 quid.
Yeah.
And that's what I was earning in my job. So, because we were part-time. So I was on the bench. And I'm going, wow. Got my gear. I'm like, I didn't know what to do, So game went on. We get beat, I think, 1-0. But I came on the last 20 minutes. Run about, worked my arse off. That's season,
a lot of time still to make an impact, 20 minutes.
I run about, I did all right. And that season in the Premier League, I played 3 games. I come on against Celtic.
What was that like?
The Celtic's captain was called Roy Aitken, big tough guy. Good player, played with Scotland. And I booted lumps out of him all game. And when I called into my mum and dad's house on the way home, and my mum got on to me because she was listening to a game on the radio and it said, and Lawrie McKinna's kicking people again. And so she was embarrassed that I was going about kicking people, but I hated them. And
so you were pretty aggressive, like on the defence?
Yeah. I never went looking for trouble, but if somebody kicked me, I kicked them back.
Yeah.
Usually harder. So, so I played 3 games. We got relegated. And then that's when I broke into the first-team regular. That was me, a first-team regular after that.
Yep.
I finished second top goal scorer with them the next year. So for the next 3 years, I was a first-team regular either. But the 4th season, I was the most used substitute in Scottish football. A new manager came in. He was a bit of a club legend, Eddie Morrison, but he was a Catholic. I'm a Protestant. Rangers fans, so that came in. So he signed.
Can you explain to the listeners and the viewers, because and when you're looking also at Celtic and Rangers, Protestants, Catholics, so can you explain to the listeners and viewers what that's all about?
Oh yeah, it's just the way you're brought up. You go to primary school, the Catholic kids go to the Catholic primary schools and the Proddies go to the Protestant ones. So you separate it. Like when my son was 5, he was 5 when we came here, so when he's like 4.5, he went to nursery school with all these kids.
But over there, would the government favour one side or the other?
Nah, not really.
Nah, it was just a pure belief.
It's just, you're just set. Then when my son started primary, he said, oh, where's my pals? Oh, they go to the Catholic school. Oh, what's a Catholic? They're different for us. They're different. Yeah. And they're not different. It's just different religion.
Yeah.
And you grow up, every time we run about our area, there are 5 or 6 high schools, you all played against it. There were only one Catholic one, and there were always fights, always trouble. And they're predominantly all Celtic fans, and the other ones are all predominantly Rangers fans, or Kilmarnock. So Kilmarnock was neutral,
right?
But because it's the west coast of Scotland, a lot more Protestants there, a lot of people who weren't into Rangers would support Kilmarnock. So if I couldn't get a Rangers game, go to a Rangers game, I'd go to the Kilmarnock game.
Yeah, right.
So it was.
But would you be putting yourself at risk if you were if you got that belief system, you go into a certain game?
Oh, there was a riot a few weeks ago. Rangers and Celtic rioted on.
So the hooligans are still
on.
Yeah, right.
So, but
that's wild.
I scored at Celtic Park for the reserves that second season. Last game of the season, we get beat 8-1. But I scored in the last couple of minutes, and I run behind the goals. I jumped the barrier as though, because that was into the Rangers end, and I just saluted. Nobody was there. I'm just saluting because I thought I was a Rangers player in front of 30,000 Rangers fans.
That's what you imagine, though.
And so we got beat, but even in those days, the dressing rooms had big sunken baths, big, huge, the size of this room, and you go in there after the game because it's cold, you get in the water. But we all peed in the Celtic one, we all went in, and once we were all ready to go out, we all pissed in it to leave it for them. So, yeah, there were a lot of childish stuff going on, but it was serious. But after 4 years, I had the chance. I just had this feeling to try and go. I wasn't good enough. At one stage, Hearts of Midlothian, who are top of the league at the moment, they'd shown some interest in me. But in those days, there were no agents. You never heard nothing for the club unless there were an offer coming for you. It was in the Edinburgh newspapers that they were interested in me. Nothing happened.
So it would only be like if it was the manager or the manager's assistant, if they got word of you, if they saw promise, then they'd bring you in. Yeah.
So then, with the chance, one of the guys who I used to go to the factory, he was coming out to see his son who was playing in Melbourne. I said, if they're looking for a player, let them know I'm available. Within 8 weeks, we sold their house. We had 2 young kids at this age. We had a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. Within 8 weeks, we sold the house and we moved to Australia. We moved to Melbourne, to Box Hill, to a state league club. And the longest flight in the world, because they were paying for it, so it was the cheapest flight.
Hold on. So they've got wind of you, and because what they're trying to develop back over here.
Yeah, so they knew I was playing at a good level.
Yep.
So they flew us out here.
Oh, nice.
Paid us, got us a job. And the people looked after us. So we're still friends with the family now who looked after us when we came out here.
But what about the difference of weather? Like, what was it like back home compared to
the first
here?
day when we arrived at Melbourne Tullamarine Airport, it was quite nice. Then it was pissing down the rain.
Melbourne's
on the way,
full on, though.
And then it was hail. We had everything. Then we turned up at the ground.
Sun?
Well, I was looking at it, and my wife's in the back of the car going, what the hell have you done? Because Box Hill's ground was like a little 500-seat grandstand and a fence round about the ground. It was a state league ground. Rugby Park was 20,000 capacity stadium, blah, blah, blah. So she's going, what have you done?
Like, as in for you to come over here and
For
another
this,
life.
It's looking like an amateur field,
How many kids you have back
two.
then?
That was it.
So you rang 2 over?
You 2, and we never had any more.
Was it just you 2? You had no family or nothing over here?
No, nothing. We just packed up on this, and within 8 weeks we were here.
But you're trying to find potential too. And if you got this mob over in Australia and they're telling you X, Y, and Z, and you're like, let's just give it a go. Why not explore?
That's why we did it. And then after 3 months, because the season was on, I finished their top goal scorer, did all right. And Heidelberg United, who were the big National League team at the time, they're a big Greek club.
Yep.
They paid the transfer of $7,000. So to get
back
me
then, $7,000.
$7,000. That was to cover all my expenses and all that stuff. So I signed with Heidelberg, had a season there in the National League. They got relegated. I finished top goal scorer. I think I got 8 goals.
Some of the, even back then, because I'm originally from Western Sydney, from Guildford. I remember growing up, even when I was a youngster, because the NSL was still going. But when you had Marconi, they were massive.
Well, I played with Blacktown.
Then.
I played with Blacktown. I played with Apia in the old National League. So I came up. Apia won the league in '87, and they paid $10,000 for me to come from Heidelberg. So me and my missus moved up to Sydney. Didn't know anybody. Settled in.
How'd you find it? Coming from the small village where you were back home, and then bang, you're in Sydney. Like, that's the biggest capital city in Australia, population-wise. So what did that feel like for you and your family?
I remember driving into Melbourne. You know how in Melbourne they do that hook turn where you go into the left to turn to the right?
Yeah, it's different from New South Wales,
I remember the first time I did that, I shit myself in the middle of it. Like, the cops were out going, what are you doing? I said, I've just arrived from Scotland. I have no idea what I'm doing. No, but it was massive because, as I said, our village
at least you're still driving on the same side of the road, though.
Same side. So because I'd done well, Apia paid $10,000 for me, went to them, did okay, but at the end of the season, they owed me my sign-on fee because it was meant to be net money. and they were trying. So I left them in a free transfer and went to Blacktown City, and they'd just been promoted to the NSL, and Blacktown paid me my transfer. They paid me my 10 grand, so I never missed out. And I went there, and I was there for about 10 years.
And how do you find the level over here compared to back home?
It was decent. The National League was good. Some great players a lot of British players in those days, Yugoslavians, because in the old National League you had Croatians, Macedonians, Maltese clubs, Greek clubs. You know, you had everything.
And that's what I found funny with Sydney clubs. Like the certain ethnicities it's like they had and run their own clubs pretty much, you know.
Yeah, no,
and a lot of them still do today.
They do in the NPL. And what would happen, say it was the Macedonians or the Greeks, that community would go to the football club at the weekend, go to the game and have their barbecues and keep the culture.
Culture and community.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So came up here with Blacktown, the National League, did all right the first season. Second season in the National League, I ruptured my kidneys. And I was out. I basically missed a full year with my kidneys. I collided with a goalkeeper.
Jeez. That's pretty serious.
Yeah, it was serious. So I was pissing blood for like 12 days.
I was going to say, yeah, pissing blood, far out.
So I was out for a season. I came back near the end of the season. The next season, Blacktown had got relegated to the NPL. I broke, near the end of the season, I broke my tibia and fibia. Another goalkeeper. I don't like goalkeepers. So I was out.
What did they just bloody karate launch in?
Nah, I went in, they went in, and I got a knee on the shin, and it just snapped it right through.
That's decent.
So I was out for 2 years with that. And
compound fracture, yeah? Like, did you have to get...
No, it was... They just put me in a cast. It was sitting perfect. The two bones, the tibia and fibia, were just straight.
You're lucky.
But it actually was worse for me because it takes so long to heal.
Because of the tendons and all that too?
Just because it was so straight. I was in a cast for that long. When I got the cast, I came back, played a game in the reserves. I missed the next week, played a game, missed the next week, played a game.
Were they looking after you through the rehabilitation process?
Yeah, it was all fine. But it would have been better getting rods in away back then because it would have been quicker. But it was 2 years, and I played those 3 reserve games, and it wasn't right. And I came... The last one of those 3, the physio was an English guy. He's now passed away, Jimmy Greeno, great guy. I said, Jimmy, my leg's just not right. I've got a wee bit of pain. Can you give me something? He said, oh.
And could you feel it every time you would step?
You could just feel something. So he put this algapan, which is the red stuff, and it stunk. It was like a deep heat thing. I said, what's that going to do, Jimmy? He says, not much, son. It's just going to burn like fuck. And it's going to burn like fuck, and you'll be lucky if your skin's still on your leg when you get off the bit. But I got through the game.
Bit of acid, no worries, yep.
And then that was me out for another 10 months. So it was 2 full years. I came back halfway through the season, finished the top goal scorer, did okay, and I was like 33 at the time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play National League just to prove I could do it. And I tried. Sydney United were interested in me. The Recreation Club had a few nibbles, but nothing. And then Newcastle Breakers, they eventually come in right just before the transfer window closed and assigned me Newcastle.
Yeah, because they would have been one of the newer clubs.
Yeah. So I went up there. I was on the bench a lot. I think I made 7 appearances. I got pissed about a wee bit, and I just said, I've satisfied myself.
Some strong clubs up there.
Yeah. I was 34 at the time. I went...
What were you thinking about? Like, you're 34.
So I was working for ASICS at the time, the running shoe company. So I was a sales rep for them, had a really good job. And I went, you know what? I've proved to myself I could come back and play at the top level, which I did. I'll go back and play with Blacktown. Went back for a season at Blacktown. That was like my 10th season there. Finished top goal scorer. And then I started getting into coaching because when I'd done my coaching badges when I had my broken leg. And that's when I done my coaching badges. And
so were you doing it through Blacktown, starting to sink your teeth? So not the badges, but like literally when the games are playing, were you starting to sink your teeth in as an assistant? Were you playing and being a coach manager at the same time?
When I had my broken leg, the reserve team coach got suspended, so I taken over the youth team, the reserve team. So I did that for like 2 or 3 months. And then I left Blacktown to be player coach at a club, Hills United, which were like Division 2 in the State League, Castle Hill.
Yeah, Castle Hill, yeah.
And I was like player coach. And then I did that. And then I was still working for ASICS. I was a sponsorship manager. Dave Mitchell, ex-Socceroo, played with Rangers, Feyenoord, Chelsea, like, you name it, he's played there. He just came back to play with Sydney Olympic.
Yeah.
They sacked the coach, and Mitch was looking for an assistant. So I didn't know Mitch, but one of the players who are sponsored, David Barrett, who is the right full back for Sydney Olympic, he said, you should phone Mitch, he's looking. And I never knew him for Barra Soap.
They were trying to poach you.
I played against him when he was at Rangers Reserves and I was at Kilmarnock Reserves.
So they're trying to get...
No,
so are you still at Blacktown? Are you still at Blacktown? No.
I'm finished. But David Barrett had only just mentioned to me, you should phone. He wasn't poaching. It was just because I sponsored him.
Yeah.
So I phoned David.
because you're with ASICS.
Yeah. So I phoned...
Before that, though, you're working with ASICS, so you're still dealing with a lot of professional
players,
athletes,
rugby league players, athletes, soccer players.
Is ASICS still? You wearing ASICS now?
No, I'm wearing Brooks now.
Oh, Brooks, all right. Sorry, ASICS. Anyway.
No, but so I phoned Dave Mitchell up. I said, look, you don't know me, and I gave him 2 references that know him and know me. Tom Sermani, the ex-Matildas coach for many years, and Ron Smith, who was the coach of the Institute for many years. And I went and met Mitch that night, and I was his assistant for 5 years in the old National League. 2 years at Sydney United, we won the league. And then we went to Parramatta Power when Parramatta Leagues Club started an NSL club.
Yeah.
We had 3 seasons there. And
did that last long, Parramatta Power, or not?
But 5 years.
Yeah,
we were there for
long.
the first 3.
Yeah.
And then Northern Spirit, who were the big...
They're
big
still
hope,
massive, yeah.
But they came and approached me to go as the manager, the coach. So I went there.
They're in the Hills District, yeah?
No, they North Shore. They were near Manly.
Oh,
but they played at North Sydney Oval. They played when they
where
came.
the Bears used to play.
Yeah. So they came. So I had 2 years there. Won Coach of the Year. Did well. And then that's when the old National League was finishing and the A-League was going to be starting.
But so NSL Northern Spirit, you're doing well because you done pretty good with that Northern Spirit too. Yeah,
it was the first time they made the finals in a lot of years.
But how was that transition? Did you hear any rumblings about NSL's going and there's this A-League thing that's lurking in the background and the Australian government?
It was all happening. We knew about it, but it wasn't clear because what happened for about a year, the players all disbanded off to the Premier League and that because there were no competition for them at that level. So I was recruiting players. So I brought about 12 of the Northern Spirit players to the Mariners because the 3 guys approached me to set up the team. So I was knocking...
So 3 guys from the Mariners approached you?
3 guys from the Central Coast. So it wasn't even the Mariners then because we weren't in the competition.
Was it Central Coast United or what was
Central Coast United were the local state league team.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with them.
At all?
It was 3 guys that had the dream and they done a lot of work behind the scenes. Then they approached Lyle Gorman, who came in as the executive chairman.
So were they owners, these 3 guys, or they were just...
they got shafted at the finish. So they came in,
That's
worked
a
hard
shit go.
behind, and then...
What do you mean? They got it started, got it up and running,
No,
and then
they never
see you
got
later.
up and running. They got it over the line to get into the competition, which was Melbourne Cup Day 2004. They announced the Mariners was one of the 8 teams.
And how'd that happen, though? How'd they get it over the line?
So Mingara Club, they had approached Mingara Club, that was a training base and where our offices were. The Mingara Club were a lot of people don't know the history. It was
No, see, I don't know.
Mingara Club, when Football Australia staff came up, they told them, we'll look after them, this is the facilities, this is their office. We had 8 people in an office the size of this room. We had nothing. It was like rag-ass rovers.
Yeah,
but we had a great training facility. We had our offices there.
So you were assigned coach. You knew that you're in, or manager, sorry.
Yeah.
So you knew that you're manager. And what was that pressure like? Because you're talking...
Well, we had to get a squad.
Not, because you're regional, right?
Yeah.
You got the coast. You're competing with Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane. So major cities. You got...
We done all right. We done because...
Did you feel the pressure, though?
No, then. And then when we eventually got to the first season,
We done bloody well.
We done great.
That's something that you'll hold on to.
But at the beginning, we're struggling a wee bit. Then we got in the run. If you looked at the team, the squad, we weren't a good, because we had the smallest budget. But we had a great team, if that makes sense. So we had a bunch of boys who individually, people would look at them and go, they're not good players. But together as a unit, we were strong and we fought and we worked hard. And we made that first grand final against Sydney FC. You know,
Bloody Dwight York, bastard.
Dwight York, Steve Corica. You know, and
he's coaching bloody Auckland FC.
Yeah, and doing well.
Yeah,
but we done enough. We done enough to win that game. But that was heartbreaking. We had about 12,000 Mariners fans came down out of the 40-odd thousand.
I remember that.
And the longest, probably 45 minutes of my life was when you're waiting to get your medals and you look in the crowd and thousands of faces there that you know that became part of the club. It was so sad. And then
that's huge though. I know it was. I remember it. I wasn't there. I'm pretty sure my father-in-law was at the game. He was, but
I remember when I was at Erin Affair after the grand final, and me and Christine went to the food hall.
I say you weren't with the team. It's just you and your wife.
We were just out shopping, and this guy said, "Oh, excuse me, you're Lawrie." He says, "Can I just say something to you?" I said, "Of course you can." He said, "I'm a rugby union supporter." He said, "But what you've done for the Central Coast is amazing." He said, "What you've brought the Central Coast together, because has gave the region an identity."
100%.
Because when we used to go to the airport, people would say, "Oh, where are you from?" Because we're all dressed up the same.
Yep.
He said, "Central Coast." And I'm going, "Where's the Central Coast?" I said, "You know Gosford?" They went, "Oh yeah, we know Gosford, but that's the
Don't
Central
know the broader
Coast."
Central
didn't
Coast.
know it, and I still believe
Tugger, where's Tugger? Where's the entrance?
I still believe that we put the coast on the map in those days. And in year 3, we won the minor premiership in the last day, which was massive. And then,
but how was it trying to bring players to the club? Like, because you got other clubs that might have more money, bigger budgets, but trying to get the right people here. Because I think since the inception, we've done well compared to all the other big clubs with all these budgets and whatnot.
We just sold them the area. You come here, you live here, this is what you're living in.
100%.
That's how we done it. It was less money, the place, the lifestyle, if some of them had kids and stuff like that. And the boys, all the boys who came here loved it. Like Mark Birighetti, the ex-goalkeeper, he's in Perth just now, he's not playing. He would come back tomorrow, you know, because they miss what they had. Sometimes when you leave, the grass isn't always green on the other side. And people, once they've left, a lot of them...
Look at Vucevic, like with Danny.
Yeah, Danny's back.
Yeah, he's playing...
His mum and dad have moved here now.
Yeah, because is he still coaching with them?
He's still coaching, the goalkeeping coach. No, I signed him as an 18-year-old. I signed Redmayne as an 18-year-old.
Redmayne?
Yeah, Redmayne's been outstanding this season.
The six wiggle.
The big wiggle. But that third season against Newcastle, when we made the finals, we played up there, get beat 2-0 in the first leg.
What did that rivalry feel like between Coast and the Jets?
So that started...
They carry on up there with their crowd. They're not bad.
It started... It was the World Club Championship was the first tournament we actually played in 2005. So it was to qualify. We got through to the final against Sydney FC and get beat 1-0 because the next game was in Tahiti. And my missus was spewing because if we'd have beat Sydney, we get beat 1-0, we'd have went to Tahiti. So she hammered me for that one. But the first game, when we played Newcastle on the Wednesday night, we won the first game, then we played Newcastle on the Wednesday, and Nick Merger, who was the big striker, put in a terrible tackle on Andrew Durante, and he broke his leg. And that's when the rivalry kind of started. That's when a bit of the hatred come in.
You could
and
feel
then
it.
the derby, when the season started, the derby, and by the time you got to year 3, because I remember year 1, was it year 1 or year 2, I come out and said, this isn't a real derby game because the Jets fans don't travel. The Mariners fans travel up there. For a derby, you have to come down.
They travel everywhere. They go north, south.
They do now.
Yeah, it's good.
But, so what happened, and on a Saturday morning, my routine, I'd go to Westfields up the road, That's where
Tugger Westfield just here. Yeah.
Fruit for All were a sponsor. They'd done, and I would go up and have a cup of tea with the boys in the morning, talk about the game because they were supporters. And I'm looking, going, all these Jet supporters, what are they doing? And then somebody walked up, so we were having a cup of tea, and he came up and said, "Hey, McKinna, you said we don't travel." And they were everywhere. And we got down to the game, there were 2,000 or 3,000 of them turned up, and they made it. That's what made the derby.
Yeah.
Like when I was the Jets CEO, we used to bring down 3,000.
I don't want to talk about that, but anyway, we'll keep going.
So we got to the final, then they beat us 1-0. Danny got sent off. James Holland, who we had signed, and then we let him go to them. He had the handball in the box. It was a penalty in the last minute. It should have been a penalty to make it one each. Shocking. And then bad enough getting beat, but then the boys had Mad Monday.
Right. The end of the season, Mad Monday.
And
they're all on the piss.
They never misbehaved. They were on the piss. The boys all dressed up as something they looked like was special to them. John Hutchison dressed up as...
He was with the team for years,
Scott McDonald. You know Scott McDonald, the ex-Celtic and Australian player who had a big arse. Hutch had the Celtic strip on with the big bum cheeks because he was a little fat bastard.
Yeah.
Andre Gumpreg dressed up as Adolf Hitler.
Hold on. Scott McDonald had a little stint with the Mariners too, yeah? Or no?
No, Brisbane, I think.
Brisbane, yeah, because I remember he come back to the A-League. I can't remember where.
So Gumpreg, being German, went, "I'll dress up as Adolf Hitler." Well, the chairman of the A-League was...
I wasn't Gallup.
Frank Loy. Frank
Lawrie, the Westfield Lawrie.
Jewish heritage.
Yeah.
So
remember when he fell off the stage, poor bloke?
Yeah, he landed on his head. But I get the phone call. I was at an FFA conference the next day after the grand final. We'd just been beat. Got a problem. This is the media for FFA. What's wrong? Andre Gumpress dressed as Adolf Hitler. I said, yeah, he's German. So what's the deal? They're all dressing up. He said, Frank Loy, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh, shit. So the press...
Regardless of Frank Lawrie, man, you don't be doing that shit.
The press camped outside Gumprecht's house for 4 days before they disappeared because they were into him, they're into us.
And he was living up here on the coast, wasn't he?
You've just been beaten in the grand final. That's bad enough. You've just had your goalkeeper sent off and suspended for fucking life, 10 weeks or something.
Danny.
Yeah. That's when we signed Bosnich the next year because we were going to miss Danny at the beginning of the season. We brung Bosnich back for the UK.
How'd that happen? I know he had a shitstorm of a fight over in the UK, cocaine, all that bullshit going on. But look, guy was at the pinnacle of his
Peter
game.
Turnbull, the chairman, came to me and said, would you take, because we needed a keeper for the first few games.
Was he fit when you bring him over, or you had to get him up to scratch?
Not really. So he came over. I was doing all the dealing with him on the phone.
He's a good commentator.
Good guy.
Yeah,
he came into the dressing room, amazing for the boys. His main issue was...
Were they in all, or when he walked through the waters?
How good is this?
Bosnich, mate.
And they're looking at him going... And his big... The only complaint he ever made was there were no hair dryers in the dressing room. He was a bit touchy about the hair. But the boys... And I remember we played the pre-season cup and we got them fit and we get 7,000 fans for a pre-season cup game.
Yeah.
If the Mariners get 7,000 at the weekend, they'll be over the moon. So we had 7,000. A lot of Sydney fans, a lot of people came to see Bosnich. It was his first game.
Yeah, I went to a game.
I substituted him a minute to go, so he got a standing ovation. And he walked out, he got a standing ovation for the Mariners fans and the Sydney fans, which was amazing.
Well, that's where he's from, down Sydney.
Yeah. I think that was the second game. The first game, he wasn't a great trainer. Didn't do much in the training field.
Right.
He was on the bench. The first game we played Brisbane up at Perry Park.
Yeah.
Just after half time, it's right, Matt, you're going on warm up.
Because that's when Danny left too, because Danny was with other clubs, yeah.
And he was suspended.
Oh, so he was still with the Mariners at the time. Yeah.
So I said to John Crawley, the goalkeeping coach, what's his goal? Look at him. He's doing nothing. He's standing up there stretching. He's not warming up. He said, that's what he does. He doesn't even warm up well.
So he's pretty much done that his whole career.
He's just doing a bit of this, a bit of that. I can imagine Alex Ferguson going, hey, you. So he went on.
Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I said, I scored a goal against Aberdeen, against Fergie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in a Scottish Cup game.
Claim that.
I said, you all right to go on? He said, yeah, boss, I'm fine. And he went on. After a couple of minutes, they got a penalty, and he saved it, and he waved at me. He's waving. He's got the ball in his hand, waving at me in the sideline.
Smart ass.
Cheeky arse.
Yeah.
But he played like so many games, done really well for us. And then that's when
it's just over that, you're talking about his career and the levels, like just how he'd be able to read plays, yeah?
He was just, the dressing room, he was just brilliant.
And did you have to give him much or
No. Professional.
Yeah.
And he
would he listen though? Like it's a team player.
He called me Sir Alex because he thought I was like Sir Alex Ferguson. I reminded him a lot of Sir Alex, which is a great compliment for boys. I saw him a few weeks ago at an old boys catch up at Sydney United.
Nice.
Doing it in his family. I know his mum and dad, and he used to come up to Newcastle and do speaking events for us.
When you were the CEO up there.
Because I brought him back and changed his life,
yeah.
I suppose. He's always in awe of
it was awesome though.
What we did for him.
100%. Because you could see him like, life wasn't so great. And, you're talking about the media in England getting smashed.
Deadly.
And then, to come home and, where it was back on the upside,
Yeah.
and then coming to a smaller club. And that was awesome that he come to the Mariners. Like out of anyone, he could have went to any club.
Nobody would touch him because he's trouble.
Yeah.
And we gave him the chance.
And look what he done for the club. And not for the club, look what he done for himself.
He was a top commentator. He's still commentating. He's doing fantastic. So
yeah, he's killing it.
But over those 5 years, then Arnie came in.
And what was your relationship with Arnie? Did you play in and around or against him, like with the NSL and all that sort of stuff?
I was part of bringing him here, bringing him to the club because I had another year of my contract to go.
So you bring him to the club because you took on another position within the club, yeah?
Football manager.
Yep.
And that was my decision to step down. And then we contacted Arnie. I spoke to him, and then the club spoke to him and brought Arnie in. And then...
And what's your relationship like with it? Because look at what he's doing now with bloody Iraq.
Fantastic. No, my relationship was good, but because I was the coach, I never went to any training sessions. I kept all the football stuff I dealt with him, players and all that stuff, but I would never go to training out of respect because he would think, what's he over here for, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I stayed my distance. And then
Would you see that with other clubs, though, where they'd get too involved, like the top brass? Would
yeah,
be...
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, after that, the year as general manager, I went to China. I coached in China for a year, and that talk about interference.
How'd that happen, though? Were you just got another offer, or how'd that sort of come about? You just wanted to sort of branch out? And
Peter Turnbull was the chairman, and at that time, Sheffield United were
chairman for where though?
The Mariners. Peter Turnbull. So he and the club had a relationship with Sheffield United then. And Sheffield United were a part owner of Chengdu Blades in China. Because they'd done a lot of developments in that in China at the time. Their business in the UK, they were a big development company. So they contacted me and said, would you interested, because they knew I was a coach, would you be interested in going to China? I went, yeah, I'll be up for that.
Just you, or you took your family? Or
no,
what?
just me and the missus, because my boys were up. My boys are
old enough doing their own thing. Yeah.
Remember, we had them early, so that was the benefit.
Oh, yeah, true.
And me and Christine went to Chengdu and was there for 6 months. But then
where is that in China?
Kind of west, inner west.
West from like Shanghai, or
yeah, over the other side. That's where the pandas are. That's the panda
You're out
place.
that far.
Yeah. So
big country, man.
Had a great time, great relationship with the supporters.
What was the talent like?
Talent was decent. The Chinese boys are technically very good, but mentally sometimes they're not as tough as what the Aussie boys are.
Right.
So a bit soft. Soft.
Mentally, and you could
soft.
see it sort of wear throughout the game, yeah?
Yeah. And like my first game was a friendly game against like the local state league club. 34 minutes a game got abandoned because they were a bit of a grudge match. It was like kung fu fighting. There were bodies flying everywhere, and I'm going, what have I done? We started the league the week after. We drew 2 each with the champions, Shandong Luneng, and that's when because our chairman was in jail for match fixing.
So you jumped into a dodgy league.
Yes, and that first game, the goalkeeper's on the post fixing his wall. The whistle got blown. He was still fixing the wall, and the boy just chipped it over. And I'm going, what's going on here? He chucked 2 goals that day. The goalkeeper. We drew 2 each.
That's a shit go.
Brendan Santalab scored, who used to beat the Wanderers.
Oh, yeah.
And Adam Kwasnik scored because I took.
So you got him over,
yeah. So.
How'd they cope with playing over there and just the environment living there?
No problem. We had a great time because I had
good.
Joanna Sully that used to be at Adelaide. Santalab was at Chengdu. I took Kwasnik over then. I took Hutch over later.
John.
Yeah. But so I was there for 6 months. The club started interfering and I left.
Interfering because of all this match fixing bullshit? Or did
a little bit of that. They sacked 10 of my players.
Hold on, why is that? Because they didn't want to do dodgy shit, or what was the go?
So I had an apartment in the city.
It's all safe here.
I had an apartment in the city and I had a 1-bedroom apartment in the complex. And if my wife was back home for a wee bit, I would stay at the complex and you would hear the footsteps at 12 o'clock at night walking along the hall. They'd chat the door. They'd be having a meeting. They said, we're going to put your players on the transfer list. Yeah, well, any players for sale. I get it. Yeah, but
but aren't there windows though? You got to wait till season's over.
This is just in China.
It's different. Yeah.
And
dodgy brothers.
I said, yeah, it's no problem. No problem. And if you sell them, you sell them. So the next day at training, I've walked down. I always used to say to Hutch and that. It was before Hutch came. So what's happening in the circus today, boys? Like we had fantastic facilities. We'd let 73-room complex accommodation, the offices, free training fields. It was beautiful.
So there's a lot of money poured into this.
And the boy said, what's happening with those 10? I said, what's wrong? So I went over. Why are you not over where I was training? Oh, we've been suspended. We're not allowed. We're on the transfer list. So I went straight up to the office going, what's the score? The players are saying they're on the transfer list. And he went, yeah, but you agreed we could sell them. I said, yeah, if somebody comes in to buy them, they can sell them. So basically what happened, they sacked the players. That weekend we played...
but you couldn't use them then.
I couldn't use them. They weren't allowed to train with us. So we had youth team players. That's when Hutch arrived that weekend. Guangzhou Evergrande were the champions.
Did you get him over because of that?
No, not because of that. Just with the window open, we could get him in.
Yeah.
And then we played Guangzhou Evergrande, 40,000 people. We get beat 1-0 at the finish up. We played really well, but we'd half a team. And then the next week, the club was someone else, and I just said, we're done. And I told Christine, and I was going to come back here and be the CEO of the Mariners because Single was interested in buying the team at the time. So we went, you know what? I'm coming back.
And what was your relationship like with him? Because he's always...
No, good.
Because he's still, he's got his fingers in a few things up here on the coast.
No, I'm still good with him. And I'll tell you a story in a wee minute. I'll go back to him.
Yeah.
So I decided, but my family, my boy and his wife and the 2 boys were coming over for holidays. So we stayed. I'd resigned.
Oh, hold on.
They
came over to China.
So they did a week and a half in China. So the last game, I'd resigned and we went to the game. I took them to the game in the director's box, all friendly, got paid up, no problem. And the fans, big, huge banner, thank you, they spelt Lawrie wrong, but who cares?
L-A-U-R.
Thank you, no, it was some other kind of spelling.
Yeah,
thank you, Lawrie, thanks for everything, blah, because they've gone really well, the supporters. And that was nice. I've still got the banner. I still got it. Went to the airport. There were about 20 of the supporters turned up for the supporters group. They're crying. My wife's going, what are they here for? And they're going, we love you. Like, it was just nice.
So you've done a good job with the team.
We've done a good job, but
Did you have a job was a job lined up before you left? You knew what was happening?
I came back and Single pulled the pin, didn't he buy the club? And I was left like a shag on a rock. And then another club, Chongqing Lifan, came in for me. They were Division 1.
Why didn't he take him on?
No, he was advised financially it wasn't a good decision.
Not viable, yeah.
So I went back for 6 months and the same thing happened with Chongqing Lifan. Really good, great facilities, great this. Learned a lot about football, what not to do in football. And finished up, come back 6 months later. And that's when I came back and Singo had said, you should go for the mayor's gig and blah, blah, blah. And then that was 2012 because the council elections were coming up. And
So what's that like? Look, and so
just on Singo, what people don't know,
yeah,
in the third season when we made the grand final against Newcastle, John Aloisi came mid-season.
I remember, yeah, because I went to a few games to watch Aloisi.
Singo,
just because he came.
Singo paid
What
his
got him up?
wages. Singo paid it. So at the beginning of the season, Singo came to me and said,
Only his wages, not the rest of the...
not the rest of it. He came to me and said, John Aloisi's want to come, blah, blah. So I contacted the agent, found out how much he wanted, told Singo, and Singo said, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
He said, I told him it was something like 200 odd grand or something. He went, who the fuck does he think he is? Blah, blah, blah. So we never signed him. But then during the season, when the transfer window, we could have a chance to get him for just over 100 grand.
Yeah, okay.
And he came in and scored 8 goals for us.
Yeah.
Got us to the grand final.
You done well.
Fantastic. But Singo actually paid for that. Another thing that people don't know, the first 4 years, Singo put in a lot of money as a key match because he was on the board of Football Australia.
Singo was?
Singo was.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
right.
another story about that, but he was on the board. Frank Lowy came in and put in 250 grand a year for Westfields at Tugra, and Singo matched it for 4 years. So people don't know all this stuff, that how much Singo did for the club.
Right.
And so Singo done that. After year
Because he probably done it out of respect at like where he'd put money in but not fully take the reins.
No, that's right.
Just that in respect of if that falls through the floor, like then the Central Coast might not have a club at all.
So in the end of year 1, I never had a contract. So Lyle Gorman never ever gave me a contract because he was worried that the club would fall over.
Yeah.
And they would owe me the money. So
Go into liquidation, where you're going to get your funds from.
So I spoke to Sydney FC, approached me. And I went and spoke to Sydney FC.
What for though?
To go there as head coach, because that's Pierre Lebarski was going to leave.
Yeah. Before that though, was there any interest from, see, just things that I would hear that English Premier League owners, like West Ham and mobs like that, they had some sort of financial interest in the Mariners. Were they?
No, it was only Sheffield United.
It was only Sheffield, that's
only
it.
Sheffield.
Okay.
So, Singo, so I spoke to Sydney FC a couple of times because there's no contract. I think I was getting 110 grand.
Was this just before the councillor sort of gig or same sort of time?
This was 2005. This is right at the beginning of that. This is year 1. After year 1. When we made
so before the Mariners?
No. Had the
Hold
first
on.
season.
Yeah.
First season.
First season.
Beating the grand final for
Yes.
Sydney. Sydney approached me to go to Sydney.
Time on. Yep.
Then Singo got involved, phoned up Frank Lowy and says, keep your fucking hands off him. He's not going anywhere. Because Singo was on the board of FFA at the time.
Right.
So I got a phone call for Singo at home. Yeah, you big Scottish bastard. I'm going to come to your house. You're going to meet me, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I met him at Guana Joe's.
Yeah, Gosford, yeah.
Met him down there.
Drifter's Wharf now.
He had his driver open the door. He said he handed me the phone. It was John O'Neill, who was the chairman of FFA. John just says, get everything you can get because your deal with Sydney FC's off because Singo's told Frank Lowy to fuck off because he was on the board of Sydney FC. And he... blah, blah, blah. So we went inside, we went into the office at Drifter's Wharf and I signed a 5-year deal on the back of a Mother's Day menu. And Singo signed it, I signed it. I said,
That's awesome.
Whatever the club don't pay you, I'll pay you. But then when I phoned Lyle Gorman, he was cracking up going, what are you going to Singo for? I said, you wouldn't give me a contract. Every time I asked for my contract, you wouldn't give me it. You would not give me a signed contract. So the club honoured that 5-year contract.
Yeah. And over the years, like Singo's just been putting in cash injections here, there, everywhere, just making sure things are
That was
afloat.
early days. He gave us a racehorse.
Gave you a racehorse?
The boys
What
said,
did you do with it?
Get Singo to give us a racehorse. Get Singo. So I went.
Did you bloody race the thing, or did you?
I will tell you. I went and saw him, And he said, right, I'll give you a racehorse that I own 100%. And if you're a player or a staff member and you're on the books, if it races on the Saturday and you resign on the Friday, you get nothing. You'll get a share. I'll pay for all the costs, blah, blah, blah. Great. The boys went through all the stuff. Matt Simon, Alex Wilkinson, they're all blah, blah, blah. We went up to the farm. And it was
Where's
called,
he from? Not Yarramalong.
No, he was up at what do you call it? Mount White.
Yeah, Mount White, where Saddles is.
Saddles is, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
where his restaurant is.
So
yeah.
It was called Mariner's Joy. I was the registered owner, blah, blah, blah. It never raced. It broke down. It broke down and got put down. So we never actually had the horse to race. So
it was a donkey.
It was a donkey.
Horse.
Hee-haw. So Single, then he kind of drifted away from it. And then I was there for those 5 years, because my last year in my contract was as football manager.
So before we go into Newcastle FC and like you being CEO, what was it like? What's the junior pool like here on the coast, and how was it back then? Because you're looking at Matty Simons, like you're looking at Central Coast Golden Child, and he ended up getting a premiership.
Andrew Clarkey, Damon Brown,
Yep.
They were all local boys. It was important when we started the club, we signed some local boys. Brownie was the first one I signed.
Yep.
I knew him from when he played at Blacktown. Clarkey came in as player and fitness coach. Matt Simon came in year 2, I think. Went on to play with the Socceroos. He trained me for 3 or 4 months. He was an apprentice plasterer. And then I'd watched him in that first season before the A-League started. He was playing with Wyoming with John McClafferty as the coach.
Matty Simon
was. He was the top goal scorer that year, so I always had my eye on him. Same with St. Millie Ednack. He trained me for about 4 months before he got a contract because we had no money.
Yeah.
And he was a great player for the club and a great player for the national team, and went on and had an amazing career.
Yeah. Now look at Matty Simons. Is he still assistant coach with the Mariners?
Nah, he's general manager of football
General manager.
or some,
For the Mariners,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Yeah. It's important that you got someone local like that understands the area, because I don't know how true that is, but I know like Western Sydney, when you're looking at the population from kids to adults, the amount of youngsters to adults that are registered to play, like that's the most in Australia, and then the second most is here on the coast from
16,000 up here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, no,
it's decent.
For the size, it's great. It's the biggest sport on the coast by a mile.
Yeah.
All the other sports put together is about half.
And how have you seen the growth to like what it was to what it is now, like with the Mariners?
No, big time with and I think the Mariners have helped that as well. Same as when the women, the Matildas and the women won the league.
The Matildas been killing it.
That boosts the numbers as well.
Big time.
Of participants. But there are many happy memories and many stories for my 5 years, and then I come back and became the mayor of Gosford for the 4 years.
So, what drove you, right? Because you've done a lot, right? So you've been a manager in various different clubs in different countries. But what was the aspiration, or what inspired you to go, right, I'm going to get on as a councillor first, get me chops in, see if the locals still love me, and then just go from there. So what? Was it sort of Singo getting under your wing and say, give it a crack, or what was the go?
No, it was him that said, you have to give it a crack because the council's rubbish, have a go. And I just looked good with the chains on. I like going out with the chains on. But no, and we had a go. We put a little team together, and me and Gabby Bowles got on, and then we went and spoke to the Libs, we spoke to Labour, and we got their support.
Yep.
And I was the mayor for 4 years for the term, and then that's when I went to the Jets. Because one of the guys I'd met in China.
So you were that was before the amalgamation though, yeah?
I finished on the June, the amalgamation was September.
So,
the amalgamation was June, and that's when I got the chance to go to the Jets.
So what was the reason? Because a lot of people don't know, but you'd obviously have the inside information, know what's happening there, but you're looking at Central Coast Council now and the amalgamation. Why did that happen?
The state government wanted it to happen all over New South Wales, so they were all different councils, and you were meant to get benefits for doing it. And Wyong Council voted for it, Gosford Council voted for it, but it never worked. You know, it was a shit fight for the beginning, and it didn't work. The costs blew out and stuff. So
it was all in the news, all that sort of shit.
It wasn't a good. Then the council went into administration, and then it came back a year and a half ago when the new councils come back in. So the councils paid all the debts off and blah, 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 all that stuff.
So all that stuff, right, and this is not too long ago, all that shit that was in the news.
1960, that was 2016.
Yeah, and you saw, you know, they were in the whole bite. This is just what you'd see on the news, like nearly 100 mil, like it was a fair bit.
No, more, nearly 200 mil.
Nearly 200, there you go, far
David
out.
Farmer, the CEO, explains it well. It said it's like if you steal money out your mother's purse and she finds out, you have to put it back.
But how did it sink that low? Like, where'd all that coin go?
The money was there, but they were spending it out of different pockets. There were different funds, and they were spending it where they shouldn't have been spending it.
Aren't they watching the bottom dollar? You got to run it, even though
it's a business.
It's account.
No, we just
took
approved
the words
budget.
out of my mouth.
We approved the budget last council meeting. It was $890 million budget.
Jesus Christ.
It's a big organisation.
It is a big organisation.
So, but when I helped, I brung the owner to FFA because I got contacted by one of my Chinese friends and said, this guy's wanting to buy a club. He can't get through the front door at FFA. So I took him in and he paid $5 million for the Jets in 2016. And that's why I went to CEO. So I brung him, Martin Lee, and then I went in as the CEO.
From China?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he still the owner or not?
No, he walked away 5 years ago or something. 4 or 5 years ago.
$5 million would be worth a bit more now.
Well, they got new owners, and that's another long story. But
what's it like, you know, because that's totally different. You're going from on the field, got your players, running the players, organising the team as a manager. But CEO, what's it like being a CEO of a football club and like the Jets?
I know it was like I brought in Ernie Merrick the second year. We got to grand final, got beaten in the grand final. You have to distance yourself. You have to not think as a coach.
More stress though?
Well, you've got a lot of KPIs, the season ticket. You've got a lot of different things. Where you're a football coach, you're purely focused on football. When I was a coach of the Mariners, I was focused on everything because we didn't have the staff. I was out talking to sponsors. I was doing everything. At the Jets,
that's cool though.
At the Jets, you have to sometimes distance yourself because I was a coach. You get frustrated sometimes, but I wouldn't go to training much. Obviously, I'd go to the games, but I wouldn't go to training much. If the coach asked me my opinion, I would give him it. I would never go and give him my opinion.
Only if he's asking for it.
If he asked, because it's not my place, I'm not the coach.
Yep.
So, and I always say to people, coaches come and go, CEOs come and go, players come and go, but the club will always be there. And the club's more important than anything.
And what's your primary goal as a CEO of a football organisation? And
well, in
like
Australia,
CEO for A-League,
it's to survive. In Newcastle, I went in, it was like 8,400 members. Second year was 11,500 members. So we engaged with the community, same as I did here. You know, it's not rocket science. And they kid on, they engage now. They don't engage. It's rubbish. They don't engage with the community now. They've stopped doing that years ago. But up there, we engage with the community, which they're doing again this season. They're sitting top of the league. And their crowds are coming back. They've been getting 12, 13, 14,000 people.
Mark Milligan.
It's because, Milligan's doing a great job, and his mum's a coastie. She lives on the coast.
Yeah, right.
I gave Mark Milligan his first contract at Northern Spirit.
Really?
He had a dodgy knee and nobody would sign him, and I signed him from the Institute of Sport.
Now look at him.
Oh, he's done very well. I'm hearing he's leaving at the end of the season to go overseas. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, dollars and cents, ching ching.
Yeah. He has to
well,
look
that
after
happens.
himself.
You got to, you look after yourself and your family, but it's hard too. Like, hopefully, he doesn't get too much hate from the fans, like for what he's built it up.
He's came in and done a fantastic job. Great job. All young players, mobile, fast, exciting to watch.
The locals too, like as in underneath the Newcastle Jets, when you're looking at like the teams out of Lake Macquarie, Newcastle, or they've got pretty strong squads out there too.
They need to keep bringing players through. They need that. Yeah, they bring players in from outside, but you have to give the young ones a chance.
Yeah. So when you were CEO, right, of the Jets, was that purely your role, or were you still trying to get in as counsellor as well?
No counsellor. That
so
was all gone.
Nothing.
That was all gone. I was the CEO. I was actually a reserve team coach, assistant coach for about 6 months because we had no money. I gave Labi Haliti, who was the ex-player, a chance to be the coach. So I was the official coach, but then once he got his badges, I sacked myself. I sacked myself in the game. I put social media up. Just let you know, I've sacked myself as head coach of the youth team in Newcastle. Labi Haliti's head coach. I'm now the assistant coach. So we got 400 likes before the game in half an hour.
Nice.
So Labi went in and told the boys, I'm the new coach. Who else would have got 400 likes in half an hour?
You know how to play the game.
You have to play the game because and Labi and me have stayed really good friends. He's a really good coach and he was a really good player. It was a chance to bring him because he was at the club, he was contracted, he was injured, long-term injury, and you have to look after players, and he had a good way about him. And the big thing is you have to have good people. If you've not got good people, you've got nothing.
Right.
In a football team.
No. So leading up to, you done a fair few years up in Newcastle.
5 years.
5 years. So did you sort of knew that you're getting to the end, or you sort of wanted to, or did Singo get back in your about getting onto the council, or how that go
we're trying to sell the club because Martin Lee stopped putting money in. So he stopped putting money into the club.
Wouldn't you have obligations from the
Doesn't
governing
matter.
body?
He lost it at the finish up for nothing.
Right.
So he stopped putting money in. I was talking to potential buyers. This was going on. I had to keep the doors open. I had to put in money. So I put in about $400,000. So I had no mortgaged the house. Never told my wife. Stupid. I paid 175 grand to the stadium, paid super, paid wages, paid accommodation for coaches. So it's roughly about 400 grand. Then
you were dedicated to the cause.
Then FFA came in and pulled the license because the Chinese guy wasn't putting in any more money. And I was meant to get my money back off. 4 owners come in then for the A-League. So
and how are you feeling? You've put up a lot. Mortgage. Would have been the stress that you've got, stress,
and then when my wife found out, fuck.
Yeah, fuck, all right.
That was... And because I thought we were going to sell the club and it got pulled out for under us, similar to what's happened to the Mariners this time. And then they brought in 4 of the owners, Sydney FC, Wellington, Western United and Wanderers. They take over the club. 4 of those owners take over the club. They were meant to give me my money back, never got my money, blah, blah, blah. And then now a new lot of owners have come in and have got the club now. They don't owe me the money. It was the other lot that own the money. But I'm not going to get the money. And one day I'll come out publicly and give the story when time's right for me. And I think it's right. So
far out, brother.
So that was 400 grand. So
that's a lot of money.
Me and Christine had a nice house in Terrigal. We sold the house to get rid of the mortgage. We downsized. We got an apartment in Gosford.
Yep.
Got rid of the mortgage, put some money in a super, and we didn't want to do that, but we had to do it because I was paying $4,000 a month mortgage that I never had before, so I had to get rid of it. So I put my head in the chopping block there. But my wife Christine still loves me, so I'm doing all right. I must be a good kisser or something like that. I don't know what it is. So that happened, and then I left. So they brought in like a general manager under them. Right. Me and him, he was a bit threatened for me because obviously my knowledge of football, the fans love me up there.
Yeah,
and the
that's
big thing,
5 years, you know.
The big thing for me is when I left the Mariners and went to the Jets, because of the way it happened, I never lost any respect for anybody. I come down here.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was it like coming back down the M1? Because that would have been fucking McKinna's back.
I got a few people would say, "Oh yeah, traitor," and I would just pull them up and go, so I offered my services to this club, the Mariners, for years free.
Yeah, and you helped build it.
And your owners wouldn't accept me to come in and help them. and me not allowed to earn a living from my family, and people would shut up. So it was my relationship, because I went up there. Now my relationship with the Jets fans, when I got the life membership, the first game of the season, the Derby game, whereas the Mariners won in the last minute, I got a great reception for the Mariners and the Jets fans, which is nice.
Yeah, right.
It was nice. So
was Singo all right with you coming back down to the coast? He's sweet.
He didn't even know then. And then it was for the elections a year and a half ago. He said we should put Team Central Coast back together, and we did. And Singo never funded it. Singo was in the background helping us, but we got our own money. We never spent much money. I think it's all documented. It's like 40 grand we spent. We put Team Central Coast together. We run three people in each of the 5 wards. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Talk them through it.
We like a party. Kyla Daniels, who was the cupcake queen, she did Cakes by Kyla.
Yeah.
She's got 85,000 people on social media. You're at the top of the list.
Yep.
We had Chef Daniel was at the top of the list in West Gosford. He just missed out. Me, obviously, the profile I've got, we got 33% of the vote, of the council vote, Team Central Coast.
Yeah, right.
For an independent group, and we got 3 across the line.
And where was the council at that stage?
They just come out of administration. That's them. They were coming out of administration, and that it was the time for the elections.
Yeah, so we timed it right.
We got 3, and then we done a deal with the Libs. There were 5 Libs.
So what were you running as? So people understand.
Team Central Coast, independent.
That's it, independence, yeah?
We did Team Central Coast 2012 for the federal election. I run for the bottom Gosford then, and the big cricket player.
He was running independent as well. Yes, Nathan
Bracken run his Team Central Coast. I got about 10%, he got about 9%, and we played the preference game with the Libs and Labour.
How was he with Nathan Bracken?
Yeah, he was fine.
Yeah,
he was fine.
Because he's up this end of the coast.
Yeah, he's up this end. So we got, as I said, we roughly got about 10% of the vote. We met with Labour, we met with Libs. We found out
doing deals.
Libs were going to get in. We knew that on the Wednesday. We had a how to vote form.
How'd you know though?
Oh, just with the tipping of the experts were saying who's going to get in.
Right.
So on this side we had how to vote Labour and how to vote Liberal. So we had 2-sided forms. On the Wednesday we made the call. We're supporting the Libs.
Yep.
And the Libs won it. Lucy Wicks got in.
Right.
Through my preferences. Karen McNamara lost up here just. I think that's when Thompson came in.
So is that when she was? So she was running local, not with.
No, she was running federal. Karen McNamara.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But
this is federal. This was the federal one.
So this is the federal one. Yeah.
So we played the Team Central Coast, and what we got promise for the Libs and for they gave us. They were going to give us 300 government jobs, which was the tax office that came then.
The ATO down in Gosford.
That came for us.
Yeah, the one on the water, yeah?
Yeah, that came for us, 600 jobs, and then the state government put in another building there as well. And that was all through Team Central Coast, playing the preference game, just playing the politics.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know that, but we were the ones who got that over the line.
Yeah, right. And that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Like just the construction alone, because I know people that worked on that. That was a lot of jobs.
Oh, it's a lot of
and then
jobs.
once it was done, because I've been in that office, because me being an NDIS service provider and NDIS participant myself, and I've had to go in there and talk to, because you've got the NDIS, but you've got ATO and you've got other organisations in there now. But it was much needed, that's for sure.
Yeah, we were involved in all that stuff, and...
So what's it like? So you've got in through council. Just explain to people like what the role is of a local, before we talk about mayor, like what's the role of a local councillor and what they've got to do for the people?
They're like the conduit, they're the contact. When people have got issues, they don't know where to go to. You go to your local member, tell him what's happening. He then puts in a report. Sends it in. Can you ask blah, 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 this? And it comes back, he gets back to people. So you're like, your ears for the local community. So it's maybe not big issues, it's small issues in that local area that they're your your contact to get to council.
Yeah.
Because now, in the past, years ago, people were interfering with things and getting involved. Now you can't. You have nothing to do with the organisation. I can't go in and walk up to a staff member and say, you do this, you do that. Hands off, totally hands off. So you can do your work, you're voting in that when it comes to council meetings and stuff like that.
Yep.
But you're the conduit to, if you were needing an invalidity ramp put into the local park where you take the kids.
Yeah.
You might come to me and say, look, we really need a ramp here because there are a lot of people come down here with wheelchairs. They can't, the accessibility is a problem, blah, 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 blah. Then I would go down and look and go, you know what, you're spot on. There are a lot of people. Then I would go to send an email, and then the email would go in the system and blah, blah, blah. And then it would
go
come
into
back.
the works.
And then it might.
And hopefully the budget's there to carry it through.
Hopefully, yeah. So that's what your local council's there to listen to the local community.
And how often are the meetings? Like
Every month.
Every month.
But we had one a week past Tuesday, and because we had run behind with a lot of work, we had another one on Tuesdays, an emergency one, as a carryover, so we caught up in all the business.
And do a lot of locals rock up?
Nah.
Why not?
Unless it's contentious, you might get, I think the most I've saw in there is about 40 or 50. Then
And that's 40 or 50 locals.
out of 350,000, and you
people.
maybe get 20 online watching online.
So you can do it online.
So the council meeting on
That's
Tuesday.
good to know.
Council meeting on Tuesday, we had 4 or 5 people. 2 of them were, one was a husband, and 2 of them were journalists. And my wife would text me and say, "Your face is red." Thanks, Christine. That's nice. She goes on and off it. She goes on and off when it's on.
So what would you like to see? Like when you're looking at local involvement that should be at the meetings, whether it's online or in person, no matter how big or small the issues are.
No, it's up to people, and this is just my opinion, not council opinion. People only care when it's their own backyard.
100%.
Most complain things, roads, rubbish, rates. And the other big ones, the grass verges in the roads.
But how hard is it with roads? Because you've got what you can control within local, and then you've got New South Wales State, what they have to do.
So we've got one of the biggest 2,400 kilometres of roads on the coast. How many potholes do you think was filled in last financial year, January through to December?
I know, bloody 100,000. How many?
70,000. So you were just chucking in 100. It's 70,000.
That's insane.
I asked the number in September, and it was 46,000. So it's roughly about 70,000 potholes are filled in.
It's a hard battle though, because the thing is, at its core, what would be best if, especially roads that you get a lot of band-aid fixes, right? But you have to do that because traffic has to flow. If you're going to full strip a road, that's going to just stop traffic, or people are going to have to divert. Like
we're going to spend in the budget there about 200 grand for roads in the next year. It's huge. People don't realise the money. So you've got your potholes, you've got your bigger strips, and then you've got the big strips. So there are 3 different levels of potholes.
And where's the state involved? Because there's local government.
They've got state roads that they'll give us a grant for them then between council. So
you're hustling, you're getting on the David Harris or Lisa Tesh
all the time.
We need money.
Well, the Pacific Highway just up here.
Yeah, that's getting done.
That's getting done, but that's been on
2
the cards
decades.
there you go. So that's what happens, because we rely on getting state government grants for a lot of that stuff.
Because people have got to understand where the money's coming from, or where, like you said, it's business.
As soon as we come in a year and a half ago.
You can start losing money on roads, if you're not getting money from state government. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so last year, when we came in, that was the first balanced budget since 2016 with the new council. This year's the second year that we've got a balanced budget. We're going to make a surplus of 800 grand. We've got a kitty allocated that's not getting spent just now, quite a few million, for the emergency stuff that comes up, so that we're still...
Is that all public too, like all the dollars and cents?
It's all public.
Just making sure.
And when you look, when the council's in debt for 200 million, and you come back for administration after 4 years, and you're in the council and people say, oh, what about my road? What about my potholes? And I would go, do you know we were bankrupt? We were basically, they were going to shut the doors on the council because it was financially not bad a debt.
How did it get fixed though? How did it get back up?
David Farmer and the administrator, and David Farmer's still the CEO, they've done a fantastic job. It's just getting the numbers, because if you work in a household budget or a budget in here, if you overspend, you're in trouble.
That's right.
And that's what council
Blowing
did.
out your bottom dollar.
That's what council did. So it's controlled.
Did they cut a lot of people out? Because there would have been a lot of people that were doing
400 and odd redundancies. And then
just cutting the dead weight out, yeah?
They had to cut the wages back to keep the place afloat. There was about 400. I think there were roughly about 2,500 staff. And there were basically a quarter of them got the sack. About 20% got the sack. Or laid off, got redundancy and moved on. So it was. So where the council is now financially, they're stable.
Flush.
They've turned it around flush, making a surplus. Financially, it's in a good place. But you'll still get the doubters going, council's bankrupt. They don't even know the debt. The debts were paid off last
People are always going to
November.
whinge.
Last November, the last 37 million was paid off. That could have been paid off in March or April,
Right.
but they were making more money on interest in the money in the bank than it was costing them to borrow the money.
Right.
So it was
And how is the council making money? Like you got...
it's all off the rates.
It's purely off rates?
Rates.
What about...
And government grants. So a lot of our stuff
just
is done with
state
grants.
or feds as well?
Both.
Yeah, so you get around the corner here to some of the local MPs around here, like the federal members, and hassle them as well?
Yep. So we work in with both. We work in with state and federal really well.
Are they pretty fair, you reckon?
Yeah. Like David Harris is up here. David's
awesome.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Emma McBride's just up there.
Around the corner, Emma McBride. She's good too.
You've got Eleanor, David, Meehan. He's down there. Liesl Tess, she's amazing. She's brilliant. I caught up with her last week.
Yeah, she's an awesome person.
Yeah, she's great. So no, it's a good bunch, and we work well with them because we need the support.
And
we can't do it ourselves.
Yeah, and what you're on, like, how hard was it? You know, you come back, councillor, things are overturned, and you're in a council now. It's amalgamated. Two parties have come together, cutting some of the dead weight out of there. Obviously, it's got to run like a business, and a lot's going to sort of fall on your shoulders too, and responsibility. But what's it like going from councillor to mayor, and how does that? And is it like, how do you become a mayor? Is it just within?
So you get two different. It's a good question. Some councils have got popularly elected mayor. So when they're voting for the councillors, then they vote for the mayor. Like Newcastle's going through this now because their mayor had to step down for ill health. So they've got 5 or 6 candidates. So
they're local members.
The punters will vote. So whereas this council,
the local punters are voting, yeah,
they're just going to vote for who the mayor's going to be. Whereas it's not popularly elected. It's the councillors who vote the mayor in.
That's what
And that's what happened when I was at Gosford.
So you had a good relationship with them then.
Yeah, and that's what happened here.
But why do they do that different? Like,
it's different. It's just different councils just depend what they want.
Is it just what's written in the local constitution and how it's got to run, or what?
It's just that's what the rules are up here.
Yep.
And it could be that depends. So who gets the most votes usually gets the mayor.
Yep.
But because to get the 15 councillors, to get the power you need 8.
Yep.
So Libs and Labour, Libs had 5, so did Labour. So both spoke to us. We were more aligned with the Libs.
Yep.
Done a deal. I'm the mayor for the first 2 years. They get the mayor for the next 2 years. So we'd done that deal. But the Libs... So the Libs said to me, why should we give you the first 2 years? I said, well, I'm independent. We've came out of administration. I'm well liked for the football and because I was the mayor.
Yep.
That's the reasons. And they went, I said, because if you come in the first 2 years, you've got all the Labour people hating your guts. And they went, fair point. So I'll be the mayor up until September, and then
September this year.
Yeah. So I've had 2 years.
So then you stand down, but then what? Stand down as councillor?
Oh no! I'll just be a councillor. I'll be a councillor then. So.
But you're still within the mix.
Oh, no, still in the mix, and my vote's important. Yeah, so the other night at the council meeting, the one that we had to get a lot through to catch up,
Yep.
I used, because one of our councillors was missing, so it was 7 each at all the votes. And I've got the power of I used the cast and vote.
Got the golden ticket, mate.
Yeah, you got the golden ticket.
So what's your power and purpose now between now and September of what you've got to do and your obligations as mayor?
So look, my big thing's the community, and since I've come in, people say you're everywhere. I'm everywhere because I love it, and I did that as the Mariners coach. I was in the community. The club was a community club. Players were out and about. So I'm everywhere. I go to every event I can. I go to the Wild Fig Breakfast when I can, because I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So when I'm not the mayor, it's going to be a big difference because I'm just going to be the councillor. So I'm going to get my knee. I'm going in for a knee replacement straight after the September vote. 2nd October I'm booked in. So I'm going to be a wee bit injured for a wee while. And I didn't want to do it before then because I'm out and about every day at places and things because I want to be. The girls in the office say, you do too much. You do. Nobody else has ever done as much as you. I said, no, but I want to do it. That makes me feel good that you can go and show your support. And then you hear all the good things from these charities and that the good things about council, not the bad things, how well things are going, how good the staff are. Because you get it, because I'm at the grassroots. They're telling me. And
what are you seeing now from the coast of when you first come up here and you start with the Mariners to what it is now and where you're running the show? What are you seeing?
When I'm in Gosford, and I said this at the Wild Fig last week, you look at the Voco Towers, you look at the urban opening, the city's changing, all these are new blocks, because they were all approved when I was the mayor of Gosford, and then the amalgamation happened.
It's carried over.
All the confidence disappeared. Nobody would develop. Now people's going, Central Coast is the place to come.
Yeah.
And that's why all the development's happening.
And you can see it everywhere around the coast, the north, the south,
it's all
everywhere.
happening, and that makes me feel proud because I know I'm part of it. And that's, you say, what legacy? We got the Matildas here. That was hard.
That was awesome when you got it. And they were staying at the Archibald, yeah?
Got them in there. That was all organised through me. And
you got a good relationship with the Tillies or what?
Well, I just had morning tea with Heather Garriock, who was the acting CEO there for a year.
Yeah,
now she's the deputy CEO. So now I just had a meeting with her just now there to talk about the potential of getting, because I met with the Australian Chinese ambassador at the stadium on Tuesday before the council meeting, and we're speaking about how can we do things closer together. And I said, football, it's common. So I'm working...
language.
I'm working with his office.
Right.
Heather's working with the FIFA and with FFA office, talking to the FFA Confederation to try and get, why do we not have Socceroos playing the Chinese national team home and away, 2 games, and the Matildas doing the same, and then...
At Gosford, yeah?
Hopefully. Then
they can stay at the Archibald.
But that's over. That's over. It doesn't need to happen now. It can be over a year, over 2 years. And then the winners with the most points become the champions of that trophy. And that's football. That's what football does. It brings people together. So,
are you riding them? You getting right behind? Are they getting behind it? They really want to make this happen or what?
No, we just talked about it on Tuesday. With and now I've spoke about it with Heather. So Paul Wade, ex-Socceroo Campton, it was the brains of Britain. Me, Wadey and Heather were down at the... taking pictures, selfies at the cafe down at Erina, entrance, because he's a big football fan. And he saw us and went, Lawrie, that's Paul Wade, and Heather, can we get a picture? Of course you can.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so
come on, bring it to Gosford.
So getting more business, attracting more business, more houses. We need houses. And you get people who's against development. They're against it because they don't want it to change. And that's the ones that don't like me.
Yeah, a lot of the NIMBYs are not in my backyard stuff.
Because I'm all for development, good development. We need affordable houses.
That's the other thing. Because you can see, look, it's minimal, but you're looking at some of the homelessness around the north and southern end of the coast, and there can be differences made, but it's so hard because it's, local, it's state, federal, what everybody needs to pitch in to get people off the streets.
So the urban... the urban building right next to Leagues Club Field in the stadium overlooking the water.
Yep.
We did the official opening on Tuesday. They had 130. They're doing another 2 blocks. They're going to do another 2 towers.
How high?
Well, they're put in for 46 stories.
I saw that. I was
So
like, is this
it'll
real?
It'll get knocked back a bit. But they were...
Like you can't eat into so much airspace, you're saying? Or?
No, it's just they were told go up
Yeah.
to come down a bit. So they'll get more. This one's 28 or some 26. They've got 130 apartments.
But you need it in Gosford.
But they've got 13 NDIS apartments. And one of the speakers who spoke, he spoke, nice guy on a wheelchair, fancier than yours. He had the one that could go up and down.
Oh, this can do it too, mate. Don't you worry.
All right, well,
Got the bells and whistles here.
Well, he was
Shout out to Permabill.
So Alan, the guy, and he spoke for the heart, how he got an accident, same as you.
Yeah.
And the way the apartments are designed by Urban, it suits his needs, and he can have a normal life. That's got awesome. A carer that can come in. And I got quite emotional. He was beating it. He said, this comes from my heart. And I've invited him to the Mariners game Saturday night to come in my box.
Nice.
Him and his carer, because he'd spoken, he said, there 13 of them in that apartment block. And out the next ones, they're wanting to do more and more. So
there needs to be more.
There needs to be more.
Because I'm involved in some, and like we see the need, and we get contacted all the time through our business, but there isn't enough. Like, there's enough for us, and then we've got to provide the workforce around it. And then that's the other thing. And it's just having the, if it's the right developers, the right people that want to get behind it that are building them, but also the right organisations to help support these individuals, Like, you really got to have that in place, and it's needed. And it's having a mix. It's good when you've got, if it's people with disability and disability accommodation and a mix of, it's accessible housing, standard, like a whole mix of people. So it's not everybody sort of lumped in sort of one area, because I know they're doing that with some of the towers, but man, social and community housing is needed big time. Like we've been, like with our work, like it's been hard with us. Like we've been trying to balance, and like we've had just say one family, and we're looking after them. There's X amount of kids with disability, and we're trying to, because there's nothing available, we're trying to help them avoid sleeping in cars, but we ended up eventually getting them social housing and that being accessible, but there's not much around.
No, so
that's just one family.
And a lot of these big developers, they're conscious of that, and they're allocating certain percentage to that as well. So it's which is good. Another big thing we got was the library getting opened, like 30 odd million.
I haven't looked at that yet. I want to get down there.
You have to go.
I've seen pictures of the studios and stuff. That looks awesome.
Got the studios, got the sound studios. They've got the maker space up the top. They've got the university. They've got their space in there for the...
What, Callahan's involved there?
Yeah, Callahan's got level 2, and then you've got a 300-seat auditorium.
300 seats?
300 seats auditorium, 200 expand up and down, push back, and you got 100 on the floor. We had the council meeting there a week past Tuesday. I think 5,000 people's been through in the last 6 months since it opened. It functions in this hall. You could have full
events and all sorts of stuff
everything.
there.
It's fantastic.
I've got to go well down.
No, you have to have a lot. You have to go down for a look. So that all started when I was a mayor of Gosford, when the money was first played, and it taken that long to get up going. But that's another thing that's happened, and it's doubled. The rentals is double. The numbers on the opening day, they were queued up the street. It was like some a movie. There were hundreds and hundreds of people who came in.
How'd that make you feel?
Oh, great! I brought in a box of my old book. I'd done a book about 6-7 years ago. So
you did? What? You're an author too?
Somebody wrote it for me, but it's in a Scottish accent. I've got one in the car. I meant to bring it in.
Oh, awesome!
So I'll bring it in, and it's written in Scottish.
Yeah.
So, but every library's got 2 copies of my book. I didn't know that, but they have, which is great.
Yep.
So I gave away a lot on the day, and because a lot of Mariners fans there, and so it was nice. It was really special.
Mate, you've
and to get the university involved in there as well. And
was that hard though? Because that's universities, even though how they've funded their businesses within themselves and how they operate.
That's came up recently is the uni were interested in the old Gosford Council building for student accommodation.
Across the road from the old library?
Just up the hill.
Okay, right.
Some of our councillors voted against it. We wanted it because
How many rooms or units were you going to chuck up in there?
130 students will go in there. There'll be 3 stories of offices, which is there. My old mayor's office is on the first floor, and they'll make cubicles, so there'll be shared facilities. Fantastic. 130 foreign students in the middle of Gosford, spending money.
It's only going to build up the economy.
It's laid empty since 2016 once the amalgamation happened. I think it's $4 million has been spent just keeping it in one piece. And we had, unfortunately, some councillors who didn't want it to happen, but there was no reason. One of them said, oh yeah, you could put homeless people in there. What, you're going to put 130 homeless people all in the one spot? Not a good idea.
No.
So
that's why it's good having a mix, you know?
So we've got that across the line. They're buying it. They're buying the building and they're buying the plot of land next to it.
Hold on, who's buying it?
The uni.
They are?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because they want their students in the city, walk up the street, go to the uni. It's becoming a university town.
I wonder what they're going to do there, because up at Gosford Hospital, you got Callahan's up there now, where they're doing the nursing and everything else. So
and they're going to be pushing for dental as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but hopefully, you know, more. Yes, you've got all the uni stuff, but you know, it's getting money behind, because I've seen how that's fallen short with dollars and cents going to TAFE as well. So, because you know, me doing carpentry and building, and even some of the trades, you know, they've gone from, you know, doing 3 years at TAFE to 2 years. They're sort of diluting the trades a little bit. So hopefully that builds up and more state money can come back in, and hopefully the local councils can help out as well. Like, yeah, but good things on the horizon though.
No, a lot of good things, a lot of positive things. So in September when I step down, I'll look at things and go, I did all right. When I spoke at the Wild Fig breakfast the other day, a list of things, and they go around the tables and ask for a question for each, what they thought. So before I spoke, and it was so positive, and it was just great to actually listen. And I know people come up and say, "Oh yeah, you're doing a good job," but to actually hear the local businesses telling you what all the you asked what the high points, what the low points were, and I think just about every one was a positive. The Matildas, the library, the buildings, the development that's going on. It was like, wow, this is going to be a good crowd today.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be chucking a breakfast at me, and it was good. So there are a lot of good things happening. There'll always be people who don't want that to happen, and that's fine. That's their opinion.
You're always going to have your haters, you know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you do or what you say.
Yeah. So I'll look at my 2 years and go, I think I've done a reasonable job.
Right. Well, what? You'll get your surgery. Are you then going to sort of sit back and sort of assess what the next steps are, or if you're going to jump into the mayorship later on down the line, you're done?
I reckon I'm done after this 4-year term. When you're on the council and
the people
mayor,
love you, brother.
I know, but when you're on there, you spend all day doing things for everybody else, and it's maybe time that I look after me and the missus. You know,
I get what you're saying.
So it's just sometimes it's draining, but I love it. Then you make somebody smile, and it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
You know, my highlight of my fortnight is going to give my plasma at the blood centre, because I'm helping somebody.
Giving back.
I couldn't give it for years and years and years. In the last 3 years, I've done over 40 blood and plasma. And I went and saw Michael Klim the other week. So he's the ambassador.
Yeah, the swimmer.
He's the swimmer. He's the ambassador.
Was he up here?
He was up for they had a series of races at Terrigal. And I was on my way in the Saturday morning to give him a plasma. And he needs plasma all the time. He's the ambassador for...
right. He's going through his own stuff.
He's gone through terrible medical issues. So I just went up and said, "Excuse me, Michael, I'm a big fan, but I'm just letting you know I'm on my way to give my plasma." He said, "Because of people like you is the reason I can be here today." And
That's
he said,
awesome.
I've got a treatment on the Monday, and I watched his life story on what one of the shows was on. It was Mike Klim, and it's 64 pints of plasma that he gets for every treatment.
Wow.
And I give, I think it's 800 and something mils I give, and I get a chocolate milkshake and a sausage roll.
Yeah.
So it's worthwhile. But
but it goes a
But it makes me
further
feel
than that,
good
you know.
that you can do something for somebody else. And
Yep.
I don't know, I'll always try and help, whether it's football players or anybody, if you can help them. But sometimes it's when I'm down my walk at 5:45 in the morning at Terrigal and you get somebody complaining about a pothole or something, it's like just all day. So then I tell them we've fixed 70,000, stop complaining.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
even when the old bunch, there a table next to us at the surf club when we swim every morning, and he came up one day, he said, "Oh, can you check my this street out, all the potholes?" And he showed me pictures. I said, "Oh, well." So the next week I went down. It was a Monday afternoon. I went down, I taken picture, went, "Shit, this is bad." Because all I do is I they get on my office, then sends it off, and then they go and check it.
Yeah, right, and put it out to the right person.
Turned up on the Tuesday. They went, "Oh, Lawrie, thank you so much."
Yeah.
They've been fixed. It was all planned. It must have been on the schedule. It got done in the Monday afternoon, so I take the credit for it. Nothing to do with me. I just patted myself on the back and said, "Hey, it's just what I do."
Yeah.
But I take, because you don't often get ones like that where it's just fixed on the spot.
I'll tell you one of my gripes, because just where I live near, there's a road right behind me in Tuggerong, like Jensen Road, and because it's a lot of sort of bush, there's development going on up there at the moment.
Yeah.
There's 30 houses and then another 84 down the road, but there's this strip and people that just dump their rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that. Absolutely hate it. And then you get the council around to come and clean it up. You know, but it's constant because people just keep doing it and know they can get away with it. I'm like, you know, it's not like you can put bloody cameras and stuff up there, but you just got to keep cleaning it up. But anyway, hopefully there's some way around it. But what do you like doing in your spare time apart from when you get to take the chains off?
I go to the Mariners games. I go down there with all the boys swimming. I swim in the morning at Terrigal when I can. I didn't start doing that 5-6 years ago. When
We're down in the Haven and that? Or?
Yeah. At the surf club. I love going down there, and we've got a big group. We're called the Scozzies, so it's the Aussies and the Scottish. So, but no, we've got a great bunch of good, and you just go down and talk rubbish. You know, we go down. It was a great. Even during COVID, we're doing it. It was just great for the head. And when I was going through the shit in Newcastle, paying all that money, when your head's nipping and you don't know what way to go, it was just nice to get away from everything.
Yep.
So I really enjoy going down. I'm a shit swimmer. I don't care. I just plod. I'm the little.
Unless you're doggy paddling along here.
I'm the little steam engine who just chuffs away. Choo choo. And I get there and enjoy it. Go a walk usually at 5:45, swim at 6:30, and enjoy it. And that sets me for the day.
Yeah,
Most of the time when I can do it, but I usually go to the Mariners games. I got home at a reasonable hour last night. Me and the missus went down the street for dinner, and because it's just Gosford's just changing now. There are a lot of good restaurants, and when you go down there in the dark before, but now it's changing. A lot of people moving in the place, and it's buzzing. So, you know, my two boys are over seeing my mum in Scotland just now. They've been to see her. They're travelling around about Europe. So my mum's 88, and so they're over. It was nice that my two boys could go and one was there for 4 days. They left. The other one came the same day, and then that other one's going back. So it's just nice that I speak to my mum every day in Scotland.
Yeah, nice. You get back over from time to time?
I was over September and October this year. My brother had passed away, my younger brother.
Oh,
so
sorry to hear that.
I went back to see my brother before he passed, and then he passed, and then and my sister had passed away in June. So I'm the last one. I'm the last one standing. So if my mum, I always phone my mum in the morning, every morning. But if I ever see if she phones me, and it's out of whack with the time, I think, shit, who's died? And I know it can't be me because I'm still here. So
you're still here breathing, brother.
I'm still here. I'm doing all right. I was at the gym before I came here. I'm going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I'm looking after myself.
Going strong.
I'm going all right. I thought, get a new knee. I was 64 or 65 in July. I will be. And if I don't get fit...
Build yourself up,
If I don't get fit now, I'm going to be too old to get fit. So I'm giving it a good bash now.
Good on you.
I'm giving it a good bash. I'm having a go.
Mr. Man, Lawrie McKinna. So have you got any sound advice for individuals that want to get into either local council or mayorship, or if you're just looking at people that want to get into the business of football?
It's just whatever you do, give 100%. Because you never, in the football, you never know who's watching. Like, I got my first trial. I never told you. The reason I went to Dundee United on trial, who were a top Scottish club, Jim McLean, that top Scottish coach, hadn't paid his double glazing bill. And one of the committee of Darville Juniors Football Club worked for that window company. He went up to his house, chapping the door to say, how have you not paid? Because he complained about something. And they were sitting talking. He said, do you get any young players down at Darville? He said, yeah, we've got a striker that somebody's shown interest in. That's how I got a trial. So you don't know. You have to play every game as though it's your last. Matt Simon, I saw him play in the 2024 local grand final at the stadium, and he stuck in my mind. And then when I heard about him, we brought him into training, and eventually we got him signed.
That's awesome.
And so you have to give everyone 100%. It's the same in business, same in the council. You can't go into that, I'll do this, I'll do that. And some days you're tired, but you have to just give it. If you're going to do it properly. That's my advice to anybody. I always have a go, and people, you're really busy. Yeah, but enjoy being busy and enjoy helping people when I can. But I'm getting to a stage now where it's time that I look after me and the missus, and after the football stuff with the Jets and all that stuff, we've downsized. Now it's enjoy ourselves. Let's spend a bit more time with us. But I'm not going to retire. I'll still be doing some things. And you just never know where it'll pop up.
Yeah, sound advice.
But it's just work hard, whatever you do. You never know who's looking.
That's right. That's the thing. You don't know who's looking.
Last week was the carp to crop thing.
Down at the milk factory, yeah?
Fantastic. So it's council run. I got my rod, had my rod in. And
Any carp?
I got a stick. I actually thought I'd caught something. I shit myself. I started, oof.
Like you didn't fling back and crack you in there.
Over 100 people there, really good vibe. But
yeah,
one of the council staff were speaking, one of the ladies. And I just sat there and I just listened to her, and I went, she delivered her thing. It was about science, and she delivered it. She was passionate. She loved it.
Yeah.
And I went up to her after and I said, that was brilliant. I went to the director, I told them. I went to her manager and told them. I said, she was different class.
That's awesome.
And it's the same as we do this community champion thing. So once this podcast, if anybody get in touch with me, my first council meeting, ABC the next day, Scott Levi. He said, somebody complained last night. They were at the council meeting, driving home at 10:30. Somebody chucked a Kentucky fried box and bag out the window. What's council going to do about it? I went,
right.
So is council going to send a truck behind every car? I said, what happened to the days when people just picked up the rubbish and put it in the bin?
Out of decency, yeah.
Just because you can. I said, you know what? There's a lady down in Terrigal's down every day picking up cigarette butts and rubbish and putting it in because she can.
And she's doing it off her own bat.
Still doing it. So I went away and Steph and Mo, I said,
that's awesome.
I'm going to make Alison a community champion.
Yep.
So I went and found her. She's a retired captain in the British Army. So, not just a nobody, she was somebody.
Yeah.
She does it every day. She goes with a red way. So Kyla Daniels, who's on council, Cakes by Kyla, she makes me a community champion cake every month, and it's got community champion on it.
Bring it up.
I'll show you the picture.
Because you'll have to send it to me because I'll show it up on the podcast.
So then so every month we want people to tell us. So we've had lifeguards who've saved life. We've had a young boy who run 100 miles in 24 hours and he raised 30 grand for one of the kids' charities. We've got Saya, who runs a group for the homeless, feeds the homeless on a Monday in at Kibble Park.
Yep.
There's 60 to 70 people every week get fed. They've got people on skies there with the washing. They've got hairdressers there. They've got clothes there. And these people we made...
Just giving back to the people, huh?
So this is...
Yeah, shows this.
So read that one. That's the Biker's Hand.
Yeah, I can see.
The Biker's Hand, when I first got involved, they had 34 charities on the coast that they provide free food. They get it. They raise money. You get money if you bend and go back, all the club grants. They're now doing 143 charities on the coast, providing them with food free.
Yep.
And the rules are you cannot sell it on. They're doing 9 schools. They get stuff from Master Foods.
That's
they get it from
awesome.
Sanitarium. And these guys, I made Tony and his wife, because they're the main ones who started it all. They do a bike run in the Harleys and that every year. Get all the toys. They do 150
toy runs. Yep.
They do the toy runs. So just people like that in the community who do it because they love this place.
Yeah, giving back.
It's just giving back. And so every month we have a community champion, and we've had some amazing, the Bowerbirds. They're a charity shop in the middle of Gosford.
They're called the Bowerbirds, yeah?
Bowerbirds.
Yeah.
They won their Australia Day Awards. I think we had 5 of our community champions up for awards. They won their group award.
Right.
They sell, people give them clothing, they sell it, but then they send out on the Facebook page, we need a bed in a cot for a woman suffering domestic violence. They send it out to the network if people have got them. My next door neighbour,
that's cool, like acting like a network like that.
Network, and they go and help, and their backgrounds, like, what do they call it when they go in and they do up the houses, they do it up nice. That's their background, so they go and plan it all out and make them feel part of it.
Yeah,
Chef
interior designers.
Chef Daniel, they asked me last week, have you got somebody that would do cooking lessons? Chef Daniel from Baker Street, who's a good mate of mine who walks in the morning and swims. So I put them together. He's going to do it, and he's done it before.
Yeah, and keeping people healthy and knowing nutrition.
Because a lot of women who have suffered from domestic violence lose all confidence in the kitchen. So you have to treat them a different way. You have to teach them a different way. So it's just that networking of people, putting people in touch with people who can help. And Saya, the guy who does the feeding of the homeless and that in the middle of Gosford on a Friday night, he's just picked up $200,000 donation for an anonymous donator.
Wow.
And he reckons since he's became a community champion, and he wears the medal down there, and that's
awesome.
Helped spur people on to give him recognition that he's doing something good. So
and putting more back in the community.
Putting back in. So when people say to me, how are you today? I go, I'm amazing. And it makes people laugh because they don't expect it. Expected to go, I remember...
Stressed out. Everybody's carrying on about potholes.
I was at Newcastle Jets when one of the girls came in and she said, how are you? They're amazing. She laughed and I said, how are you? And she went, yeah, I'm I said, no, go back out. When you come in, when I ask you, you tell me you're amazing, and I bet you feel better. And she did it. So if you want to feel grumpy and sad, we've all got problems. But look at the bright side. We live on the Central Coast, got a beautiful
up here.
Life.
100%.
You're in a wheelchair and you're disabled for how many years?
16 and a half years.
16 and a half years, and you're chirpy and as happy as the Larry, and
just having a crack,
you're having a go.
Yeah,
and
that's all we can
just
do.
Have a go. Stop fucking whinging about it.
Yeah, keep the wheels turning.
Big time.
Oh, walking, running, whatever you bloody want to do.
I just do it with a limp at the moment, so I'll look forward to when I'm an athlete again.
So, Lawrie McKinna, so if people want to get in contact with you, whether it's socials or, through council, just put it out there. Like, how can they get a hold of you?
Just email me. Email the council.
Yeah.
It's just laurie.mckinna@centralcoast.newsouthwales.gov.au.
Done. Appreciate your time.
No, thanks for having me, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed looking at that wall that looks like
the moss in your.
Yeah, but mine's is real. That's fake, but it's nice fake. It's nice fake though. It's decent job.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Righto. Solid yarn with Mr. McKinna. Awesome hearing his transition from football to running the show on the Central Coast as a mayor. Solid bloke. Doesn't muck around. Straight up. Look forward to the next one. And if you like the podcast, hit that subscribe or follow button. And we've also got a Patreon page. The link is within the description. So if you want to roll with the squad and become a patron, that'd be great. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can get me via Instagram at streetrollandcheetah or email one word, streetrollandcheetah@gmail.com. We've got a Facebook page, Keep Rolling with Jake Briggs. I'm on LinkedIn, Jake Briggs, so check it out. I want to thank our sponsors, Culture Connects, an NDIS registered service provider predominantly operating up and down the east coast of Australia. with its main workforce of disability support workers, support coordination levels 1, 2 and 3, psychosocial recovery coaching, registered nursing, the bricks and mortar, disability accommodation with SDA, specialised disability accommodation, SIL, supported independent living, that's 24/7 care, ILO, individualised living options, which is a hybrid style of living, MTA, medium-term accommodation, STR, short-term respite, working with a diverse range of individuals that have got very high complex disabilities and not so complex. Spinal cord injuries, acquired brain injuries, cerebral palsy, autism levels 1, 2 and 3, muscular dystrophy, Friedreich's ataxia, Huntington's disease, MS, Parkinson's, intellectual, cognitive, psychosocial disabilities, working with individuals from the ages of 6 to 65, older, some younger, broad range, making sure vulnerable individuals in the community are catered for. And also heard, because Culture Connects are advocates first and foremost, service providers second. And yes, I co-own and co-run Culture Connects, and very passionate about what we do here, to serve all types of different individuals with disability. So if you need disability supports, whether that's through the NDIS or other state and territory-based schemes, reach out. I want to thank our sponsors, Permanbill Australia, the greatest electric wheelchairs in the land. Wouldn't be sitting in anything else but these 4 wheels right here. They got great assistive tech also. So righto, see you on the next one.